did it on a territorial basis for the Cherokee Nation problem. The tribal resources are very slim, and we don't have enough to go outside. If one of the things the community can work on, then we'd be glad to provide some in-kind assistance, because we've been very good at developing health services, working in the health service. So if this community wants to work on an urban thing, that's something we can provide expertise and help this community start working with. So for the tribe to deliver services directly, we can't do it. We can help the community to find some innovative ways to do that.
Same thing with getting employment to Cherokees up here also, or are you guys able to help assist in that aspect of allowing us to get more employment, or at least getting our foot in the door somewhere? Because I know as of right now there's Haskell, but I didn't know if Cherokee Nation offered any other opportunities for us.
We don't have any job opportunities up this way. I've got to call somebody who's an employment agency here. And if you look for jobs that's involved in the Cherokee Nation, you go to our jobs website, cherokee.org, it has a list of all the jobs available. And also if you're a contractor, it has all the bids will be ready for all of those jobs.
Thank you.
Okay, last question. Yes, ma'am.
Tell us, you and I have chatted on this just briefly, but maybe the other Cherokees in the area would like to know. My question was, will there be any kind of health care for the aging, especially the aging Cherokees here in the city area besides Haskell? Maybe you can touch on that.
The Cherokee Nation can't provide it. The Cherokee Nation will not be able to provide health care to Cherokees outside the Cherokee Nation. What we can do, as I mentioned, if this community develops, we can provide expertise and assistance in helping this community develop a proposal for an urban health. That would be an initiative for this community. Any other questions? We'll be around to visit. Yes.
Yeah, how do you foresee the relationship between this entity that you're now forming and the existing Indian organizations in Kansas City?
Well, the existing Indian organizations for all tribes, basically this would be a charity organization.
I understand that, but do you see any interface or duplication of effort or any avenues for cooperation?
Well, sure. I'm sure the Cherokee community would love to be part of the overall Indian community. But the character of this community will take on its own character, like every other community is taking on a different character. Some communities are very interested in genealogy, some are interested in history, some are in language, some are arts and crafts, others are interested in veterans affairs, others are interested in something else. It really depends upon the leadership and the people in this community and how this community develops, and what its primary interest is. So, what do you last one?
Can you get back to health talk? Check to see when it might be possible to schedule another Cherokee history course in this area.
Okay. Julius will respond to that question about when the next Cherokee history course is coming in this area. So that's a good segue. So should we ask Julia to come up? Okay, Julia comes.
Yeah, I've got a really loud history course voice too, I think, right? You hearing me back there? Okay. Yeah, I'm really, really pleased to be here with you today, and I will share with you that this is the largest turnout for this kickoff event membership drive that we've ever had of any organization. So, I think there are 160 seats here. It looks to me like just about every one of them is filled. So you guys have had just a marvelous event, and I want to give all credit to the interim council here who have put this together, and all of the people who have worked with them. This is just an amazing turnout here. So good job. these organizations, as Chief Smith was saying, there are 17 of them, counting the one that we kicked off last night in Wichita, so you guys are the 18th. And there are several more that are coming up. By the end of 2011, we should have 25 of these types of groups, most of them in the western states, the areas, the Midwest, where the Cherokee citizens have migrated since in the 20th century for the most part. And it represents over probably about 2/3 of the population of the Cherokee Nation, of the citizenry of the Cherokee Nation, who's outside of the boundaries now. So because of that statistic, it's very, very important, I think, that these organizations do begin to form. I know that for myself, I've spent most of my life outside of the boundary, and although you know that you're Cherokee, you sometimes grow up in a situation or interact in a situation where you don't really know anybody else who is, oftentimes, or just a couple maybe, mostly your own family members perhaps. And I know that although I worked in other Indian organizations and I had lived on reservations and I had traveled around the country and so forth, I never really did know very many of my own people until I moved to Albuquerque. And there was an organization there of Cherokee citizens, and my great aunt lived there and drew me in, and it became such a lifeline to me, not only to other Cherokee people, but back to Oklahoma, back to the nation itself. And I know that for you guys here, you're close enough as well that you can travel back and forth sometimes, and maybe some of you do that, and maybe some of you haven't been there for a while. But that's one of the goals, I think, of these kinds of organizations is to build those connections, not only the connections with each other here in Kansas City, but between you and the nation, and from the nation to you as well. And so these satellite organizations are, they're really emerging as a very broad network, I think, of groups that we can really kind of hook in and tie in better with our citizens than we've ever been able to do before, those that live on the outside of the boundaries. The vision has been one, I think, that many people have had for a number of decades. As the chief said, I know I've been sort of actively working on this for 10, 15 years at this point. And I know a lot of you have probably had the same kinds of ideas about things. And I really am just so pleased that it is this administration, the administration of Chief Smith, that has finally sort of begun to put some resources to something that many of us have dreamed of for a very, very long time. One of the things that is going to be forthcoming to all of the groups is that you will be getting a couple of presentations, a couple of programs every year when experts or cultural specialists, language experts, whatever it may be,